Broman Field, welcome to tonight's broadcast as the homestanding Blue Devils take on the Brentsville District Tigers. I'm Mark O'Connell alongside Steve Peacock. And Steve, in one sense, it almost sounds strange to say this, but tonight the Blue Devils are looking for win number 3 in a row.
Yeah, they are, Mark, and they're on a roll ever since they changed it up offensively and went from that passing offense to that run-oriented offense. They ripped off 3 wins, going for the 3rd win in a row, 2 in a row. They're on their back side of their schedule, which is a little easier than the front side of their schedule. But, hey, I just looked at Freelance Star this morning, and Culpeper's 3rd in Region 3, Region B standings, and they're in good shape for the playoffs. They keep winning. They're going to could be looking at a home game first round of playoffs.
Well, and part of the reason is because you're looking at a classification perhaps not as strong as others, like 4A, for example. Mm-hmm. So they're in the 3A mix, and interestingly enough, they start the season off 0-5, and you're starting to have their doubts, but then all of a sudden they get a win. And I think personally that winning feeds on itself, that until you get that first win, you're not even sure you can get one. Then after you get that first win, you start to think, okay, this is what we can do.
Right.
Now you see a team coming in looking for a 3rd straight win, and this is a team that's played some inspired football, Steve. And I know they didn't score a lot of points last week, but the defense only gave up a field goal. Yeah,
the defense is playing well as they can, and that's all because of the offense. The offense is to be a ball control offense. It's on the field longer than they were previously when they were throwing the football. So the defense is rested. They come in and they can play lights out, and that's what they've been doing.
All right, now let's talk about this dimension that Blue Devils added a couple weeks ago, where they put Javay Coleclaw back there to take the direct snaps and generally run with the ball. Sometimes he'll also hand off to some of his ball carriers. We've seen the emergence of Noah Staten and Blake Polari and some others. But Javay Coleclaw has been quite the weapon back there, 4 and 5 yards a pop. And then while Capone Hoffman has really sort of been pulled out of that quarterback role, what a key role he played last week defensively. I mean, that interception for a touchdown was really probably the game breaker.
Yeah, it was, Mark, and you put your best athletes where they need to be, and that's what Coach Wakefield has done, especially with Armani Hoffman. And on the offense, he's made him a wide receiver, but he's still a threat running the ball with a jet sweep or any short passes. But another person who's had a really good job of running back is Gabe Fry as well. Has done very well. But tonight they bring on the Brentsville Tigers, and Brentsville is coming off a win, their first win against William Monroe last week. They're fighting for a playoff spot as well, and they're going to pose a challenge for the Blue Devils defensively. So we'll just see how it's going to go tonight.
Well, before we catch up with Culpeper's head coach to have him weigh in on tonight's game, I also wanted to say that this is my second look at Brentsville District this season. We saw them earlier in the year when we went there. I say we, meaning Jeff Say filled in for you that night, and we called the Brentsville versus Eastonview game. Now, you mentioned that Brentsville held Eastonview to its lowest scoring output this season. I don't know if that's deceptive or not. I think Eastonview was well out in front early on. However, point well taken. The problem with Brentsville is that they've had trouble scoring a lot of points this year on offense, and winning last week against William Monroe is really a 7-6 game, and the difference was a missed point after. So that's a lot of information, and I'm not quite done yet. I know you would track this, but I don't want to jinx things for Culpeper. But look, if you look at the strength of their schedule, the caliber of their opponents from this in on out, tonight's Brentsville District, and then they had Manassas Park, and then they finished with William Monroe. Look, I think realistically, I'm not going to put the coach on the spot, but I'm going to ask you, you got to like their chances to finish with a 5-5 record.
Yeah, you do, and that's what the goal of Culpeper is to finish with a 5-5 record, and they've done a very good job. They're on their way, but they've got to beat Brentsville tonight. I think their next 2 games are definitely winnable, and that they can definitely have those, I think, in hand, but they got to win tonight, and if they win tonight, they're well on the way to 5-5.
Well said. All right, let's catch up with Blue Devils head coach Ken Wakefield and see what he has to say about tonight's game. All right, joined now by Blue Devils head coach Ken Wakefield. Coach, as always, great to see you. Thanks for joining us in our pregame show. Congratulations on win number 2 in a row last week over Warren County.
Thank you. Kids played well, responded, had a nice game.
All right, so Steve and I were talking before you joined us that how impressive the new dimension has been with Javay Coleclaw back there. And then it's allowed you not to use Capone Hoffman, I suppose, as much offensively. But what a key role he played defensively last week for the team.
Oh, he played tremendous at a really important time of the game. Really made it tough for them, put them in a tough spot. So, yeah, hats off to him. He did a great job last week.
One of the things that I've thought up, Coach, I know this is an intangible, it's a psychological factor, but I have often thought, and I hope you'll agree, that winning is difficult until you win a game. And then after you win a game, then the whole mindset starts to change, and you start thinking, well, we're going to win another one.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you've won 2 in a row, then you're in a position tonight, and I'm not here to jinx anything or anything like that, but I'm thinking there's no reason for you to come in thinking that we can't be highly competitive and get out here with a win tonight if the penalties and turnovers are nominal.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said it's hard to win just one. It really is. I mean, I don't think people understand that, how hard it is just to win one. And our kids, won 2 in a row. I mean, I've always told our kids, I feel very confident we can beat anybody on any given night, but that goes for everybody else around as well.
You've often said that it's really just sort of not if we'll come together.
Yeah.
It was a matter of
It's
time.
yeah.
And I think that things have been delayed some for you. But when I watch the spirit on this team after this win, the last couple wins, I start to get the feeling that these players believe themselves individually and as a team on a whole. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. The kids really responded. Like I said last week, they didn't get too far down. They never got too far up. They understand where they're at. It's 1 week at a time. Be 1-0 after this week, and that was the goal.
Coach, tonight Brentsville comes in here. They're not very good at what we've seen on offense, but they got a stingy defense. So what do you got to do offensively against them tonight? Because they're going to be trying to stack the box against the run.
Everybody's, from what we're doing right now, everybody's going to try to stack the box and stop the run game. They're tough defensively. I think they're a tough football team. They've played the same teams we have. And, both teams got off to a slow start, but both teams are now playing teams that are, in the same situation.
Right.
So, I think it's a test for both teams tonight.
Well, I think we're going to see maybe a little bit of play action tonight, maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to ask you also, I look at the bench and I see several players just with their jerseys not suited up, hobbling or on crutches. What's the injury report tonight for the team, Coach?
We got a couple kids down. I've always said, it's the next guy up mentality. We don't ever make excuses. Who's out? It's the guys that are suiting up tonight, the ones that, we're going to focus on.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us as always. And I know that a lot of people are happy for you guys, and I really like the position you're in from this point on.
Yeah, I mean, support's been great. Just got one game at a time and just keep going from there.
All right, good luck
Good
tonight,
luck,
Coach.
Coach.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Well, it's always a pleasure catching up with our coaches.
Yeah.
And, Steve, I really like Culpeper's chances tonight, and I like them in the next 2 subsequent weeks to finish out the season. I know we don't like to look too far ahead, but if you're talking about trying to control your own destiny or fate, there's no reason to think they don't have some control of that, because they're going to make the playoffs. The question is, how are they going to finish up and what sort of seed are they going to get?
Right, and that's the big key. And because they played a tough schedule, points are going to help them with other teams, playing tonight. But they can't overlook Brentsville. They can't look down the road, to the other 2 teams on their schedule. They have to get by Brentsville tonight. I think if they win tonight, it definitely solidifies their playoff chances and possibility of opening up with a first-round home playoff game. But tonight, Brentsville is going to bring a stingy defense, and I'm looking for Culpeper to maybe have a little wrinkles tonight instead of going just all run. Look for some play action tonight.
Steve, before we close our pregame, let's give some commendations to Eastern View Cyclones football. We haven't seen them for a couple weeks. Man, they are just ripping things apart. And they have their bye week tonight. They come back, they're off tonight, but they come back next week against James Monroe. They finish out the regular season against King George. Unlike the 3A classification, the 4A is simply loaded on both sides of the region.
Well, yeah, and it goes and hurts Eastern View in the power poll ratings. They're rated 4th right now, behind Dinwiddie, Monacan, and Louisa. Louisa's got a big game tonight with Orange County. Eastern View is going to be rooting for Orange County because they've destroyed Orange County, and Orange is a Division 5, so they'll give them big points if they beat Louisa. I don't see that happening, but again, Eastern View is playing very well. I mean, they're averaging 56.5 points a game and only having 9 points to get scored on them. They're a machine. They're playing very well. They just happen to don't have the benefit this year of a strong Battlefield district.
And who is a team that has held Eastern View below their season average? The team we're looking at tonight, Brentsville District.
Right.
Looking forward to calling the game with you tonight from Broman Field. It'll be the visiting Tigers of Brentsville District taking on the Culpeper County Blue Devils. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have team captains meeting in the center of the field for tonight's coin toss. Stay tuned. You're watching Blue Devils football on the Culpeper Media Network.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at Triple Image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield, Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
Well, from Broman Field, welcome to tonight's broadcast of Blue Devils football as Culpeper plays host to the visiting Brentsville District Tigers. Hello, I'm Mark O'Connell, alongside Steve Peacock, the man behind the camera tonight, Jeff Stanfield. Welcome aboard. Team captains make their way to the center of the field to determine tonight's coin toss and how we'll start things. Left to right for the Blue Devils, Robert Stradiff. Number 2, Nazir McDonald. Number 75, Grant Hibbert. And number 1, Capone Hoffman. Speaking of Hoffman, we'll send out a happy birthday wish to Armani Hoffman. I understand today's his birthday. Steve Peacock, team captains are meeting the center of the field. We talked in the pregame at length about how well the Blue Devils have done the last 2 games and how to some extent they really sort of control their own fate with 3 opponents left on the regular season schedule and a fine opportunity to be very competitive against all 3 of those teams.
Oh, absolutely, Mark. Their schedule is cut out for them because they can control their own destiny. They sit in third in position in the Region B Division III playoff scene. So if they just keep winning out because of their tough front half of the schedule, they will be able to host a first round playoff game. And see, right now they've just got Spotsylvania, James Monroe, and I've just had the third team. It escapes me the third team. Well, Culpeper's the third team, just behind James Monroe and Spotsylvania in the playoff race.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, now Brentsville District won the toss. They defer, and Culpeper will receive tonight's opening kickoff. So let's talk about the Blue Devil offense, Steve. We've seen them last couple of weeks against Skyline and Warren County in wins, and we saw that new wrinkle with Javay Coleclaw back there. You know, if you're the opponent, you know that Coleclaw, if he's back there, he's going to do a lot of running. And yet the Blue Devils are sort of saying to their opponents, this is what we're doing. We dare you to try to stop us.
Well, they get behind that big offensive line. And, one thing I forgot to ask the coach in our pregame show was about how well the offensive line has done in the last 2 games. And they have to continue that tonight because teams look at Culpeper. They know what Culpeper is going to do. But I think tonight too, Mark, you're going to see Culpeper throw in a couple wrinkles, maybe use Javay Coklaw and maybe use his arm a little bit and try to get some play action passes to keep that Brentsville defense, which is their strong point of their team, from teeing off on the running attack of Culpeper.
Speaking of teeing it off, it'll be Kyle Harris of Brentsville District taking that honor, as the Blue Devils will send back Jordan Williams and Javay Coklaw to try to return this kick. Depending on the strategy here, will they kick away or will they keep it short, pooch the kick and try to keep it on the ground? We'll see. We've seen a lot of that on Culpeper's side of the kickoff team. We'll see what Brentsville District will do here tactically in just a moment.
You know, and I'm not a big proponent of these pooch kicks. I know they're trying to keep it away from their, return men, but again, it gives the other team good field position. Sure
does. Well, they go end over end, long distance from the 5-yard line. And that is Javay Coklaw's spin move. Got him across the 20 out near the 25-yard line. Here comes the Blue Devils offensive unit. Didn't score a lot of points last week, but they didn't have to because that defense was only gave up a field goal. And in fact, the Culpeper defense had a touchdown. They had 2 touchdowns last week. The defense had 1, and the offense 1. But the defense was a pretty good game. Only gave up a field goal. Now here's the offense starting things out tonight for Culpeper, and they're going to start it from their own 25-yard line. Well, Javay Coklaw is back there. Adam Mifsud is back there. Blake Polari gets the call, and they meet him near the line of scrimmage. 3 or 4 Tigers in on the tackle, so no gain on the play, brings up second down.
And what the Tigers are doing defensively, Mark, they're usually just got 3 down linemen, and they're going to bring in a defensive end. They got 4 linebackers back there, and they're going to be, that's who, basically what they're going to do is let those defensive linemen occupy the offensive linemen, let those linebackers attack. And they're quick. So Culpeper, like I said, I think that you can play action this team to death.
All right, well, here is 2nd and 10 for Coklaw. He's going to run it. Spun off the initial hit. Good 5-yard pickup by Coklaw, and that's about what he's averaging, I think, unofficially. Every time we see him run the ball, it's usually good for 4 or 5 yards of carry. This brings up a manageable 3rd and 5 situation.
It does, and Mark, I was kind of surprised that he was doing returns on the.
Mm-hmm.
It's not usual to see your quarterback being a return man.
I thought the same thing as well, but I suppose if he's one of your best athletes, you try to get him in every spot you can, right?
That's
well,
right.
Here is 3rd and 5, so big 3rd down for the Blue Devils here. They go with Coklaw. He's going to run it. He will not get the first down. They tripped him up before he could really get going. And that's going to bring about 4th and 3, and we're going to see Gabe Fry and the punt team.
And again, Mark, I still think, Culpeper is, I know they're really concentrating on the run and everything, and that's what's got them in their wins. But this Brentsville team is a little bit better defensively than the last 2 teams that Culpeper has faced, and they're quick. So I think, like I said, the passing games, you're going to have to throw a little bit to keep them off balance.
All right, here's the snap. Gabe Fry will punt from inside right at the 20-yard line. Back deep is Joey Boros. Boros lets it go. And it'll take a bounce and be down just inside the 30-yard line. That's where Brentsville District will set up on offense for the first time tonight. We're scoreless here at Broman Field with 9:55 to play here in the first quarter. And this broadcast is made possible by Fountain Sons, investing in youth at all levels to help make tomorrow's leaders. Fountain Sons at 825-3530. Well, Chris Capella informed me that Brentsville District would have a change at quarterback. When I last saw them, Brady Whitlock was the man, and tonight they go with Bailey Loa, and we'll likely see Whitlock more as a receiver. And this is Bailey Loa under center for Brentsville. From its own 29-yard line, they go with the run. And out to the outside and getting good yardage and a first down and more was the running back there, number 30. And that was it number 30?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Jake Cornwell. I don't think of him as a dominant player on defense. He gets the first carry, picked up great yardage out across the 45 out to the 47.
And that was just a simple run play that Culpeper overshot in his gaps, and then Brentsville was able to turn it up for a big play.
All right, so 1st and 10 Tigers from their own 47-yard line. It's Loa under center, handing off ball carrier, tried it over the that right guard area, and the Blue Devils there stuffed that play. Brad Krim and number 64, Daryl Fitzgerald, combined for the tackle. No gain on the play. Second down, and, well, they give him a yard. Move it out to the 48, 2nd and 10. Brentsville District comes in tonight with a record of 1-6, and the Blue Devils in at 2-5. So here is Bailey Loa under center on 2nd and 9. Handoff, yardage over that left side, and this will be a first down, and this is the run by J.C. Wilbanks, the fullback. How about that offensive lineup, the backfield back there, Steve, with those 3 running backs behind the center? That's we've called that different things in the past.
Well, that's more like a flex bone, because it's very rare now you even see quarterbacks getting right up under center. Most of them line up in the shotgun, but this one's right here, and you hit that quick hitter with the fullback, and it's got Culpeper kind of off balance.
And that's what they do here on the left side. It was Cornwell. And 3 backs back there give you that different dimension.
Yeah, well, it's almost like, I think Chancellor changed theirs flex bone. They went back to the old style wishbone. It's a variation of the wishbone offense. It's sort of like a flex bone. You have the quarterback under center, and you got that full house backfield.
Right.
It allows you to do a lot of, play action and fake handoffs and really kind of disguise the defense.
And they modify it here, and they go over the left side. The Blue Devils this time, I think, making a little bit of adjustment there on defense as Wilbanks gets to the 35, and that's all. He picked up 2. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7.
Big number 64, Daryl Fitzgerald up front with the stop mark.
Right.
And that's what Culper's got to do. They got to find the football. And Brentsville's got some quickness back there, and they're not big up front on their offensive line, but all you got to do with that full house backfield is just get a crease, and then they get into that second level in there for big yards.
All right, here's 3rd and 7 for the Tigers from the Blue Devil 35. Little play action. We're going to see our first pass going up top and incomplete. The receiver there, Brady Whitlock, makes a diving attempt, unable to bring it in. We'll have 4th down and 7.
I don't see Brentsville going for a punt, so I think they're going to try to go for it here, Mark.
Now, if you had Adam Vinatieri, you could go for a 52-yard field goal here, right?
That's true.
Or some others. They're at the 35-yard line where it's 4th and 7. And we have
a penalty.
Yeah, it must have been. Well, they say it's a holding. We didn't see it. Well, it's against the defense. You think it's against that pass, the defensive back?
That's only a 5-yard, but it's an automatic first down.
And moves it to the 30-yard line. Keeps the drive alive. This one started on their own 29-yard line for Brentsville District. They have it now at the Blue Devil 30 where it's 1st and 10. Quick hitter over the right side. Push back after some initial progress. Lewis Chapman puts the finishing touches on the tackle there of Alex Whiteley.
And it brings up about 2nd and long, Mark. But again, that holding penalty, that could be costly for the Blue Devils. They had them stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. Well, holding penalties, we know, hurt a couple of different teams last week. There is a 2nd and 9 for the Tigers on the Blue Devil 25-yard line, or 24 rather. Over the right side this time, and a nice tackle made by Gabe Fry of Wilbanks. And now another 3rd down and long coming up. And this is where the Tigers went to the pass last time in this situation, and the Blue Devils were called for defensive holding. Let's just let's see if they can answer this time as a defensive unit.
Well, they got to, it's that quick hitting handoff that's hurting the Blue Devils up front because they're only rushing 3 down linemen as well.
Here it is, 3rd and 9. Man in motion. Here's Loa. Here comes the pressure. He got away from Fitzgerald, and he won't get away from Nathan Martin, who wraps him up for the sack. All the way back to it looks like the 30-yard line. And now we'll have a 4th and long, and that was a big 3rd down play by the defense. Well, Fitzgerald put the pressure on him. And then even though he got away from him, Nathan Martin was there for the sack, Steve. And now they'll have it at the 35. He lost 11 yards, brings up 4th and 20.
Well, Mark, that was a good play by Darryl Fitzgerald. He held his ground. He jumped straight up, and the quarterback had to kind of pull the ball back if he knew it was going to get batted down, and that just bought extra time for defensive teammates to make the sack.
All right. Brentsville District lines up for the punt. No one back for the Blue Devils. It's a short kick. They're going to have to probably get away from it, and they do, and it takes a Tiger roll. They're going to down it inside the Blue Devil 10-yard line. That's where the Blue Devils will set up shop for the second time tonight on offense here in the first quarter. 5:19 to play at Broman Field. We're scoreless here in the first. Well, this broadcast is made possible by Triple Image. Make your clothes speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image at 829-1050. So, Steve, where are we going to be next week? Are we going to see the Eastern View James Monroe game, you think?
That's where we're going to be. We're going to be down in Fredericksburg at Boyd Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And which is a tough place to play. It's not a friendly confine, not friendly confines for Eastern View.
All right, now the Blue Devils will start this one deep in their own territory at the 7. Ball carrier is Noah Staten. He got across the 10, go out to about the 12, 5-yard pickup. There he is, Noah Staten, a player who we said has emerged in recent weeks as a threat to run the football. And it'll be 2nd and 5 after that 5-yard pickup. Gabe Fry checks in the game now for the Blue Devils.
And the key for the Blue Devils offensively, Mark, again, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but if they could just trust Javay to throw the football just on a little post route over the middle, because look at all the players that Brentsville's got stacked in the box.
Yeah, and speaking of stacked, I think Javay Coklaw just drew the Tigers offsides. We've got a penalty in. I think it's going to work against the Tigers. And they'll mark off 5 here in a moment. That should be enough for a first down. Here comes the call. That is the offsides. They'll move it out to the 17. Should be a first down. Or maybe just a little shy of inches. 2nd down and very short for the Blue Devils now from their own 17-yard line. Clock ticking, 4:35 to play in the first quarter. We go back to the run. This is Fry. He'll have a first down. He didn't need much to pick it up. He didn't get much more than that. But the Blue Devils will have a new set of downs coming up, and they'll reset the sticks.
See, this is the offensive play caller in me. I would have seen how that box was stacked, knowing that we only got 2nd and inches. There's why I would have tried to go for the home run a little bit. Fake it, little play action, send the receiver down the sideline, because Brentsville was really, really looking at the the run. But again, they're going to measure, Mark. They haven't given.
Yeah, I may have spoken too soon about getting that first down. I thought he clearly had it, but his forward progress may not have been what I thought it was. And they're going to say it's about 6 inches shy. So now it's 3rd and very short, 3rd and inches. Well, we talked about Eastern View a little bit in the pregame about how they're having a great season, and this is their bye week, so they're off, and they'll come back next week and have James Monroe. The Blue Devils playing tonight come in with a record of 2-5. They've won 2 straight, and Brentsville District 1-6. They won their first game last week, 7-6 over William Monroe. 3rd down and very short. Here's Coleclaw. He'll definitely have a first down and more, and he just keeps going. And it takes about 4 players to finally bring him down, including number 34, Ashton Shepard. But what a call. I mean, Coleclaw's a weapon back there for you if you want 4 or 5 yards a pop.
Yeah, it is. He's a good weapon. He's a strong runner, hard to bring down. But I was getting ready to say, Mark, this is where advantage Brentsville, where their quarterback lines right up under center on those short yardage situations where he could just fall over and get the first down. By Culper always line him in shotgun. You run the risk of getting stopped on short yardage situations.
Now from the 29, it's first down. Adam missed the ball carrier, got across the 30, dove out to about the 32. Well, we'll make it the 33. Picked up 4. Here's 2nd and 6 coming up for the Blue Devils, and we're scoreless here at Broman Field as the clock winds down to about 3-minute mark.
And another thing is, Mark, I do like what Culpeper is doing running the football. If Brentsville's going to be attacking that run like they are and stacking the box, instead of running away from them on the outside, they're running right at them. That's a good strategy.
Coleclaw Noah Staten, good run by Staten, good second effort. They had him and they wouldn't stop him. He just kept going, and finally they bring him down at about the 45-yard line. So a run that looked like a gain of about 2 or 3 yards turned into a 12-yard gain for Noah Staten, and that you got to give a lot of credit to Staten for that tremendous effort on that play.
That's keeping your legs moving, Mark. And he just kept those legs moving, and you just keep running until they bring you down. Again, Brentsville defense is real quick, but they're not very big. So if Culpeper can just impose its size on that defensive front and just keep pushing their legs, they're going to get big yardage.
All right, Blue Devils on the move here. This is Gabe Fry. Line of scrimmage was a 45. He got a yard or two, and that was the linebacker, number 49, Wilbanks. J.C. Wilbanks, a senior linebacker, making the stop. 2nd and 8 coming up. Approaching the 2-minute mark here in the first quarter at Brentsville. We're scoreless. Blue Devils moving the ball. This drive started deep in their own territory at the 7. They've got it out to their own 47 here where it's 2nd and 8. Javay Colclaw in the backfield. He's going to run it. Tries the right side. He's got a little bit of room out there, and he's going to be very close to a Blue Devil first down. As coming in to make the tackle, before he couldn't get it before the first down, was Isaiah Thomas, the defensive back. Let's see where they mark it. It's just a little shy. He's got to get to the 45-yard line, and right at the 46 or a little less.
And, Mark, what I like about this defense with Javay Colclaw back there is in the shotgun, he can pick his spots and run. He hits the hole hard, and that's what's making this Culpeper offense hard to stop.
3rd and a very short one. They go to Gabe Fry for the first down. And it looks like he'll get it with forward progress. He had to get right at the 45-yard line. He didn't get anything more than that. And in on the tackle, number 52, Nick Nooner. Looks like that's enough for a first down.
And what Gabe's got to learn to do, again, I've been saying this, the only criticism I have, shouldn't say a critique of Gabe, is he's got to get a lower center of gravity when he runs with that football. He runs too straight up, and that hurts his momentum when a defender hits him and he gets him stood up, and that way he's not being able to, if he's going to be the tough runner inside, he's got to get a lower center of gravity and lower those pads and get underneath the defensive alignment.
Here's Colclaw, keeping it on first down. And he's spinning and keeping those legs churning and just fighting for more yards. He got inside the 35-yard line, it looks like. 25, 30, 35, inside the 40, rather. But Colclaw, I don't know officially what his average per rush is, but it's got to be around 5 yards at least, don't you think?
It is, and he's done a good job. The only thing is about, Javay running all the time from the quarterback position, you're going to risk him getting dinged up when it comes playoff time. He's taking a lot of hits, and we got less than 15 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, sure do. We may get another playoff. We may not here as the final seconds tick off. And they do get the playoff. It's Gabe Fry. Not much doing. He got close to the 35-yard line. We hear the siren that signals the end of the quarter. We've played one here at Brentsville where we are scoreless. We'll take a quick break and come back for the start of the second right after this.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at Triple Image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
Well, welcome back to our broadcast. Mark O'Connell alongside Steve Peacock and Jeff Stanfield tonight. We are at Broman Field, getting ready to start the second quarter. When we do so, the Blue Devils will be on offense, looking at 3rd and 1 from the Tigers' 35-yard line. So, Steve, Chris Capella said at the break, fastest moving first quarter perhaps ever. Got to be up there as one of the top.
That's true. We had a fast one last week against Warren County, too. So,
well, we only had a couple penalties, right? We had the one holding, we had the offsides. Other than that, and both teams keeping it on the ground, I mean, I don't think Culpeper's attempted a pass, and that they didn't attempt a pass in the first quarter, and I think Brentsville District only had one pass attempt.
It's true. You're correct.
All right, so as we start the second quarter, Blue Devils in possession, looking at 3rd and a very short one from the Tigers' 36-yard line. Coleclaw back there. And he gives it to Noah State, and this time they do a great job of wrapping him up, shy of that first down, and making a good tackle was Zion Childhurry, senior defensive lineman, now 4th and short. He gained nothing. Actually may have lost a few inches on the play.
Well, this is where you got to go to Javay Coleclaw right here, but this is where I said earlier about being at a disadvantage running from shotgun versus right up under center. When you got to get that 4th and short, with shotgun, you got to, you're 2 or 3 yards back behind the line of scrimmage. And if your linemen don't hold the blocks up front, that gives those quick linemen, those linebackers, quick to shoot the gap and stop it.
All right, here's 4th and 1. Do they go to Coleclaw? They do. And he's not going to get it this time because great penetration was J.C. Wilbanks, the linebacker. And he did what very few people have done this year, and that's hold Coleclaw for no gain. In fact, he dropped him for a loss, and the Tigers will take over off the turnover on downs.
Well, Mark, that's what I was just saying. It makes my point right there.
Yep.
By being in the shotgun, and the way the Brentsville defense is quick, and the way to go against a big offensive line, and that's what's hurting Culpeper. That's why Culpeper's had success moving the ball by running straight at them, using their power with that big line. But when they got to get those penetrating linebackers, they're quicker, and that's what happened when Brentsville was able to get in on it.
All right, here's the pitch to Wilbanks. He got away from Krim, and he turned on some surprising speed out there. And Wilbanks fighting for even more yardage. He got inside the Blue Devil 35. This is a huge pickup of about 27-plus yards on the play by Wilbanks, and that one just sort of exploded from out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's a deceptive runner, Mark. The way he's able to pick himself through the hole, and he's strong, too, and you can't bring him down with an arm tackle. But I was getting ready again to say, on that 4th and short, Brentsville's got such a quick defense, and Culpeper didn't get their splits. They need to cut down their splits, not split out so wide, and that allowed Brentsville to shoot the gap and stop them.
29-yard pickup by Wilbanks, first down Tigers. And they go back to him again. This time he's stopping for a 3-yard gain. Actually, that was number 30, Jake Cornwell. And making the tackle was Nathan Martin, number 13. So brings up 2nd and 7 from the 30.
And all Brentsville's doing with that flex bone offense back there, Mark, is basically running inside trap plays. And the defensive line's got to recognize it. If you're coming off and firing off your from your lineman position, you're not getting blocked. You got to understand a trap's coming, and you got to be making sure the linebackers are right there.
Here's Wilbanks again, this time right into the waiting arms there of DJ Fitzgerald. Makes a great tackle and a good stop for the Blue Devils. That defense needed to play just like that.
They did, Martin. They were able to play the gaps and were able to stay at home and able to make the tackle. But again, with that flex bone offense right there, a lot of misdirection, and like I said, if you're a defensive lineman and you're not getting blocked, you got to have play with your head on swivel because a block's coming. It's a trap play, and you got to be ready for it.
All right, big 3rd and 8 for both teams now. Here's the Tigers. Here's the pitch. This is Cornwell Trying to get the edge out there. They string it out, but we'll check the spot as to where they mark him out.
Yeah, I think he's got it.
Yeah, he had to get, I think, to the 23. And they're moving the sticks, so he's got it. So they're mixing it up with their running backs. He had Will Banks, Cornwell, and a couple of others.
Right now, Mark, the Brentsville's quickness is bothering the Culpeper Blue Devils. They're quick up front. They're not real big on the offensive line, but you don't have to be if you're sitting there getting good blocks and got those good trio of running backs.
Now from the 14-yard line, Brentsville District threatening here. And they go to the running back. This is Will Banks. And it looks like he'll get to the 10-yard line. He picked up 4 yards, 2nd and 6. Down to about 9 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Neither team has scored, but wow, the Brentsville District really knocking on the door here. They've got an excellent opportunity the way they're running this football. Looking at 2nd and 6 now from the Blue Devil 10-yard line. Bailey Loa is the quarterback under center. That full house backfield back there. Here's Will Banks. Will Banks tackled near the 5-yard line. He'll be a little shy of a first down, I believe. About a yard, depending on the spot.
And Mark, last week I saw on Friday Night Fury, Channel 29, last week, I saw the highlights of the William Monroe Brentsville game, and William Monroe was pushing Brentsville all down the field, but they could only get 6 points.
Yeah.
And Brentsville came back late and scored and made the extra point, won 7-6. So this game is reminding me of this, what Brentsville is doing, and Culpeper's got to be aware of it. They're not going to do anything fancy.
All right, here's Will Banks.
Fumble.
The ball was loose. Let's see who's got it. There's a penalty flag coming in as well. Will Banks was the ball carrier, and then pouncing on it was Jake Cornwell near the goal line. Let's check the penalty coming up here. Saw a flag come in.
Was it a flag or was it the ball marker to mark where the football is?
I thought I saw a flag. They have it right at just shy of that goal line there.
Yep.
There was a fumble, and Johnny on the spot there for the Tigers. It was Cornwell. Now it's 1st and goal from the 1. So the Tigers will have 4 chances to punch it in from a yard here, Steve.
Yep.
Bailey Loa under center. Will Banks is back there. He's done some damage tonight. Here's 1st and goal. Will Banks, the ball carrier. And Will Banks is in. The Tigers are on the scoreboard first. Touchdown, Brentsville District. And it comes from J.C. Will Banks from 1 yard out with 7:31 to play.
And that, puts Brentsville on top by a score of 6-0. That was very, that fumble looked like it was going to fall in the Blue Devils' favor, but right there it was Brentsville to pick it up and recover it at the 1, and they knocked it in.
Kyle Harris is the place kicker. They're going to go for 2 here. Here's Loa. His teammates say he got in. Now there is a penalty flag coming in as they stopped him just shy of the goal line. Let's see. That was Noah Staten in on the tackle. Well, I see penalty flags or ball spots. I see the officials conferring.
Yeah, I saw a penalty flag. I think it might be holding against Brentsville. We'll see. I saw no signal whether or not they were getting in.
Yeah, I don't think he got in. Here it comes. Well, we're still talking about it. Here comes the call. It's against the you're saying ineligible receiver?
Yep.
Oh, I know they're going to line up for the point after. And this will be Kyle Harris trying to tack on the extra point. Now we got another whistle to stop play. It's got a little unorganized these last 2 plays, didn't it?
They sure did.
Where we have the stoppage.
But see, this is big. This is crucial because in a close game like this, Mark, this 1 point could be really big and for either team. So right now, it's Brentsville's backing up now. It makes the extra point. Looks like it's going to be from.
Well, they mark off 5. The line of scrimmage would be the 6. Here he comes now.
So the 13 be 23 yards.
6 and 7, 13 and 10, 23. You're right. Well, talking about extra points. And look at William Monroe last week, 7-6.
That's right. That's how big this is with the low-scoring affair as I expect this game to be, this is crucial.
So this is Kyle Harris, the kicker. Snap, the hold, the kick is up, certainly long enough, and it is no good.
No good.
What did you just say? It's critical.
Yep, critical.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? So the point after is no good, but it was an interesting sequence of plays before they actually booted that point after, wasn't it?
Yep, it sure was. It was penalties, and that helped the Blue Devils. Now the Blue Devils just got to regroup. They're only down 6-0. They know they can move the football against Brentsville. They just got to cut down the mistakes, and I still think you got to throw the football, Mark. Culpeper is going to have to show that they can throw the football, or teams will sit there and just stack the box and just keep pressuring them to to stop the run. Now against William Monroe or Manassas Park, I think they can get away with it, but against an athletic team like Brentsville, it's going to be a little bit harder. So they're going to have to, I think, go to the air a little bit.
All right, Tigers are on the scoreboard first. Why? Well, that's because they capped a 9-play, 62-yard drive with a 1-yard touchdown by J.C. Wilbanks, but it was Wilbanks in that drive, Steve, that rattled off 29 yards on a run that really paved the way to get the ball deep in Blue Devil territory. I think that was the difference in that drive.
It was. That big run by Wilbanks, you're right, Mark, did the trick.
So Harris, who missed the point after a moment ago, is teed it up to kick off to the Blue Devils, who trail 6-0 with 7:31 to play here in the second quarter. But as Steve has pointed out, a missed extra point can be very critical when two teams are otherwise generally matched up pretty evenly, right?
Yep, it is, and it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a slugfest, I think, tonight.
Here's the kick. They kick away, end over end. And looks like Jordan Williams gets under that one. He got away from, looks like the ball is loose. Brentsville District says they have it. Let's see if the officials agree. And they say, and they do agree. Well, that's a huge turnover against the Blue Devils. Now the Brentsville District, which is up 6-0. Off that turnover, will now have excellent field position from the Blue Devil 25-yard line.
Got to take care of the football, Mark. And you know what? Culpeper's last two games, they have led, the other team was committing turnovers, and you can't commit turnovers and expect to win a football game. And right here, see if the defense can toughen up right here, because getting down to 14-0, or 12-0, 13-0 to Brentsville is a tough road against the way their defense has been playing.
Here's Loa under center. And this is Cornwell, the ball carrier, and making the tackle nicely, number 51, Jaden Brown. Yep. No gain on the play. So this is where you're asking your defense really to stand up tall against Brentsville District, Steve, because of that turnover on the kickoff. 2nd down and 10 now for the Tigers from the Blue Devil 25-yard line. Clock running, under 7 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Tigers up 6-0, looking for more. Loa under center. Full house backfield back there. Here's the call over left tackle. And it looks like it was Cornwell inside the 20. Down to about the 18. He'll pick up about 7 yards on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 3.
Yep. And again, Culpeper's got to really stiffen up here, Mark.
So 3rd and 3 now for the Tigers from the Blue Devil 18-yard line.
And see, even this is how weak the Region B Division 3 is. Brentsville is sitting right behind Culpeper in 4th with a 1-5 record in the playoff standing. So, like I say, this is a big game here for Culpeper.
Now this is Wilbanks. He's hit hard. Push back. Forward progress will be the question. A couple of good hits in there by the Blue Devils. Let's see if Wilbanks was able to get a first down on with given forward progress. So it's going to be 4th, isn't it?
It'll be 4th and short. So here's a big play here for the Blue Devils, Mark.
And they have it at the 11. Is it? Yeah, let's see. No, it's the 16, where it's 4th and a short yard. Big number 77 there is Taha Ali. Number 13, Nathan Martin. 81 in that quarterback position is Jordan Williams. Brad Krim is in there.
Timeout, Brentsville.
Adam Mifsud in Brentsville District calls a timeout. We'll tell you this broadcast is made possible by Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. Battlefield Automotive at 547-3673. Well, the 6-0 advantage by Brentsville District didn't seem to be too injurious to the Blue Devils, Steve, until the kickoff and the fumble, because then Brentsville District takes over at the Culpeper 25, and you're putting your defense in a position where you're asking them to stop Brentsville with a short field, and then maybe putting your offensive teammates down by 2 scores, and it makes a really big difference, like I say, in an otherwise close game.
Well, especially when you got 2 run-oriented offenses going against each other, so you're not passing isn't the strength for either team. And Mark, and if you get up 12 points, 12-0, that's a big lead, and it's going to be tough for Culpeper to try to come back unless they start opening up their offense. And they're going to have to, I know we talked to Coach Wakefield in the pregame about maybe using some play action. I think they're going to have to start doing that.
All right, here's 4th and 1 for the Tigers. And they go to Wilbanks, or Cornwell, rather. No, it was Wilbanks. I was right the first time. He got inside that 10-yard line. That'll be a new set of downs, and that'll be 1st and goal for the Tigers. They got a couple of tough running backs back there in J.C. Wilbanks, Jake Cornwell, and Alex Whiteley sometimes carries the ball. Brady Whitlock had been the quarterback. He wears jersey number 1, but he switched to the wide receiver position with Bailey Loa taking over at quarterback.
And, Mark, it's hard for me to believe. I'm looking at how athletic Brentsville is, how they've lost, so many games. I mean, they lost to Warren County, and Warren County didn't impress me. So, and they've
Well, they go back. This is Alex Whiteley. Just talking about him, he gets a rare carry here in the first half, and the Blue Devils stop him after a short gain. Line of scrimmage was the 8. Looks like they've marked it at the 6. That's where it's going to be 2nd and goal. 4:25 clock ticking, second quarter action. Tigers up 6-0. Looking for more here. They have it 2nd and goal from the 6. Bailey Loa under center. Full house backfield back there. And they go with Wilbanks. He's done a lot of damage here in this first half. The Blue Devils do a nice job of holding him to about a yard pickup as Lewis Chapman and Nathan Martin and Brad Krim combined for the tackle. Now we got 3rd and goal from the 4.
You got to figure 2-down territory. I don't think they're going to go field goal here. I think they're going to try to get it in 2. Big play here for the Blue Devil defense. You got number 81 in there for Culpeper.
Yeah, that's Jordan Williams.
Jordan Williams.
All right, 3rd and goal now from the 4 for the Tigers. They go to the run. This is Cornwell. Fitzgerald does a nice job. DJ Fitzgerald of tackling him before he can get going. And then we have tempers nearly flaring as things get a little intense. Now we have a 4th down. And it's 4th and goal, I think, from the, that's where they have it marked. Is that the 1?
Yeah,
hard to pick. Yeah, it looks like it's at the 1-yard line.
Big play here. Brentsville is going to go for it. Big 4th down here, play for the Blue Devils.
Well, if you're Brentsville, based on what you've seen of them, who would you go to?
Wilbanks.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. J.C. Wilbanks, number 49. He's done most of the damage here in the first half for the Tigers with their running game.
He's a big kid, too.
All right, what do? Well, they go to Cornwell. They stop him, and he doesn't get in. Gabe Fry and a host of others. Daryl Fitzgerald in the tackle. Lewis Chapman, and there you go. The defense stands up and answers the challenge, and what a difference that makes, because they turn the ball over on downs. They get back to their offensive teammates. They deny Brentsville a touchdown, and it's still a 1-score football game, Steve.
It sure is. That was a great defensive stance there by the Blue Devils, Mark. But now, offensively, you got to get out of this hole. Got to take care of the football. Don't turn it over down here, and just try to see if we can get a drive here with 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go left in the first half.
And we mentioned that the coin toss, Brentsville District won it and deferred, so we know they're going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter when we get there. 2:42 to play here in the 2nd. They keep it on the run, trying to establish a little bit of breathing room. They won't really get much here as They go to Noah Staten. Line of scrimmage was to 2, and that's where it remains.
I still think, again, I said it against Warren County. I'll say it here against Brentsville. Capone Hoffman on an end around.
Yeah.
I mean, look how they're stacking the box, pinching in. You know, it's great to, you know, be a defensive coordinator up here, but again.
And they may be on, you may be on something, Steve, because Capone Hoffman is in that lineup.
And do a jet sweep, because look how they're attacking up in the middle.
All right, 2nd down and 10 from their own 2-yard line. Colclaw rolls to his right, throwing downfield. This one batted, and it was batted back to Colclaw, who keeps it, and he tries to run out of the end zone. He gets about the 1-yard line. That was probably the freak play of the game so far. It was batted at the line of scrimmage, but it was actually batted back to him, and he caught it. And I was lucky not to get the safety. He knew he had to come out of that end zone, and he was barely able to do just that.
Well, that's when you're a quarterback, you just knock it down and just let it get batted down into the ground. If it's coming back to you, you're that deep in the end zone, just don't catch it. You know, it would have been an incomplete pass.
I think instinctively with it coming to him, I don't think he had a chance to think about it that way.
Yeah, but now look where the ball is.
Yeah, exactly.
Third.
Well, they were at the 2. Now it's at the 1, and it's 3rd and 11 from there. So they need a little breathing room, assuming they're going to have to punt on 4th down here in a moment. Here's Colclaw looking for some. And he gets across the 5-yard line. That's about it. And so we'll have Gabe Fry come on with the rest of the punt team, but there is a timeout taken by Brentsville District. So they're going to need a good punt by Gabe Fry. Of course, we're down to 1 minute and 3, and I think that defensive stop moments ago could prove to be a very huge stoppage in this football game.
It is. You know, it can, but again, they got to take care of the football here. I think Brentsville, they're calling timeout, Mark. They're going to go for that punt block. Culpeper's got to be ready for it.
Well, this broadcast is made possible by CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center at 825-2200. 1 minute, 3 seconds showing on the scoreboard clock here in the second quarter. Tigers of Brentsville District up 6-0. Blue Devils looking at a 4th and 7 from their own 5-yard line. After the Tiger timeout, the Culpeper punting team comes onto the field. And Gabe Fry will be standing deep in his own end zone. We've got a lone safety back here for Brentsville District standing at the Blue Devil 45. Well, obviously you have to have a good snap and good protection and a good kick from Gabe Fry. If they get that, Brentsville District have about a minute to work with here in the second quarter.
Well, they're coming after it. You can see how they're lined up.
All right, there's the snap. He gets it away. It's going to be a short kick. It's going to be fielded at the 40-yard line. 35, coming near side. The return man. It's slung out of bounds near the 30-yard line. That was number 5, Joey Boros, the return man. And so the Tigers, let's check the line, the mark here, because 35. Looks like they're going to mark it about the 33. And there's a penalty flag down as well, so that mark will likely change. So one of the players I think who has stood out for the Blue Devils tonight, Steve, on defense is DJ Fitzgerald. What do you think?
I do too. I agree with you. He played a well of a ball game, especially on the defensive front right there, Mark. So now, see what the penalty call is here. The men in black are having a combo.
And some slow deliberation, don't you think?
Yeah.
Keeping us in suspense.
It'll be back and
so that's the one they accept?
Yeah.
All right, the holding.
Because it's from the spot.
So yeah.
They move it back further. So.
Gives the defense a little more opportunity here for the Blue Devils because they push the ball back to looks like the 45-yard line. So Brentsville will be on Culpeper's 45 with 49.8 seconds to play in the second quarter. The defense for Culpeper on its last setting, stood the challenge, turned back the Tiger threat. Let's see what happens here. Here's the pitch. And this is Brady Whitlock. Whitlock stiff arms one defender, and they force him out of bounds after a pick of about 8 yards on the play. That'll stop the clock as well. We're down to 41.1 seconds officially on the scoreboard clock.
And again, what Culver's just got to keep everybody in front of them. Brentsville hasn't really. They've only attempted one pass attempt, Mark. All in the first half, and they're using that big running back, that running back by committee right now to really try to wear down this Blue Devil defense.
Picked up 8 yards on the play. It's 2nd and 2. Tigers have it at the Blue Devil 38. Here's Loa. Quick hitter. Handoff. Here's Whitlock with the first down and much more inside the 10-yard line. So Whitlock, who had been the starting quarterback, moved to that receiver position. Now they're using him as a running back. Back-to-back runs by Whitlock. So another offensive go-to player back there now. And all of a sudden, Steve, with the ball where it is, Brentsville has plenty of time here to capitalize with 32.8 seconds to play. They have it just inside the 10-yard line. That's where it's 1st and goal.
Yeah, they're going to have, like I said, they got to tighten up here on defense, Mark.
And another whistle to stop play. It looks like Culpeper's going to call a timeout.
And the reason is because they had too many people on the field. 23 runs on the field. Nobody came off. And the coach recognized it, and they had to call a timeout because they would have been penalized.
All right, well, this broadcast is made possible by Virginia Community Bank, your bank of tomorrow and every day after. Virginia Community Bank, banking for life at 829-6034. 32.8 seconds showing on the scoreboard clock. And Blue Devil took a timeout. So here's the defense, Steve. After the timeout, we'll be looking at facing a Tiger team that has it 1st and goal from the 10 with 32.8 seconds to play. Now, we saw the defense stand up to the previous challenge. They're going to be asked to do so here. And then if you're Brentsville District, you're looking also at some maybe a time management situation.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to make sure Brentsville is down to, I don't think they got one timeout left maybe? Yeah, one. It looks like they got one timeout left. And you got to make them use it and make them use that clock and keep you in front of you and don't let them rip off a big run.
All right, after the timeout, 1st and goal from the 10. This is a big fullback, J.C. Wilbanks, and they stand him up and push him back after a short game. Several players in there. Number 50 for Culpeper, Steve. That's Cameron Buchanan.
Clock continuing to run.
Yep, down to 15 seconds. Maybe they don't have a timeout.
Yep.
All right. And this is, look at this. Number 2, Alex Whiteley. Some good footwork. He had a hole to run through. He darted through it, and he scores with 3.8 seconds to play in the first half. That'll make it 12-0 in favor of Brentsville District.
Mark, and that was easy. You could just see that play develop. It was, the Culpepper was a little bit confused on defense because it was Brentsville was trying to hurry up, but Brentsville knew what it was going to do and just hit that little small inside handoff, and with the quarterback tucked up under center like that, Culpeper couldn't recognize it before he already had the running back had the ball, and he was in the end zone.
Yeah, Brady Whitlock's the holder, and the kicker is Kyle Harris. And they're able to get it down. The kick is up and good. And now it's 13-0 with 3.8 seconds to play here in the first half. Well, it must have been a pretty good move by the Tigers to switch Brady Whitlock from quarterback to that running back and wide receiver position with Bailey Loa under center, because Whitlock ran it in from 10 yards out. And good looking little run there by Whitlock, the junior former quarterback turned running back for the Tigers, 13-0. And of course, we talk about the intangibles like momentum. Well, obviously the Tigers have some, Steve, and they're going to carry it over in the third quarter because they're going to receive the third quarter kickoff.
Yeah, they are. And Mark, Culpeper right now, I think they're going to go in halftime and make some adjustments on defense, because the defensive linemen are really, there's so many gaps up there in the front. The linebackers are a little bit slow making the play, and that's because of the way Brentsville's got their splits on their offensive line. And they've got to, I think, tighten up a little bit and try to get some penetration. And Culpeper right now, from a defensive standpoint, hadn't been able to get penetration against that offensive attack of Brentsville.
The offensive formation that the Tigers are using, we talk about a full house backfield and sort of a little similar to the wishbone with those three backs back there behind the quarterback. Is this sort of a different look, you think, for Culpeper's defense to try to figure out and make adjustments to?
Well, I think so, and I think that's what they were looking for Whitlock. And if you looked at previous film of Brentsville, and you saw them too, with Eastern View, they pretty much played from shotgun,
right,
and not under center. And this is a new wrinkle, and this has really given the potent running attack of Brentsville some momentum, because what they're doing is they're hitting those quick handoffs, and Culpeper's defensive line is big, but they're not real quick. And boom, next thing you know, the running back's in that second level, and he's finding a lot of running room, and Culpeper's been hard pressed to stop it.
So Culpeper back, the offense back on the field at the 23-yard line, 0.6 seconds to play in the first half. Do they take a knee here or run it out or have a running play? Or?
Well, I mean, you got to try something. I don't see them. They're not going into victory formation. They're looking like they're going to try to get one play.
Here's Colclaw. He's going to pass it. Throwing downfield, incomplete. He aired it out there, trying to hook up with Capone Hoffman. That's how the first half will end. With our score at Broman Field, Tigers 13, Blue Devils nothing. We'll take a break and come back when the third quarter is set to begin with Culpeper kicking off the Brentsville District. Stay tuned. You're watching Blue Devils football on the Culpeper Media Network.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice, because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at Triple Image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield, Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams, and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
All right, welcome back to our broadcast. We are at halftime here at Broman Field. Mark O'Connell, joined now by Chris Capella. Well, Chris, welcome aboard, and what are your comments or assessment on that first half? How did you see things?
Mark, thanks for having me,
Absolutely.
as always.
Yeah.
I thought Brentsville's defense is kind of mostly what we expected coming into this game. I think, were you at that Eastern View game at Brentsville?
Yes.
With us? Yeah. So, we kind of saw a defense that played hard. They're very solid with their tackling. They're fundamentally sound. Joe Molnax has a great game plan. So I wasn't too surprised with this great defensive effort by Brentsville. What I was a little more surprised with was Culpeper's lack of creativity on the offensive end in this one.
Mm-hmm.
No, 2 passing attempts, one at the end of the first half, another one that was caught by the quarterback. So quarterback's only completion is to himself. That's Javay Kolkloff. I don't think I've ever seen that before. No use of Capone Hoffman, who's been really good, maybe outside the tackles, no jet sweeps. He's lined up at quarterback. There's just not that creative dynamic right now on that offense, which I think they need to find in the second half. And to me, this has kind of been the big challenge for Culpeper. You've been able to establish the running game. This has worked well for you for about a month now. What are you going to do now when you're down 2 scores? Because you got to mix it up.
Yeah. So is it fair to say you think that the Culpeper offense is a little too predictable? They need to be a little more creative. And Capone Hoffman's such a great athlete. Will he factor into the second half offensively? I think that's where you're leaning.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's probably the best athlete on this football team. And even if you're going to run, I mean, every single run in this game from Culpeper has been pretty much inside the tackles or just off tackle. They haven't even lined up a wide receiver. You're really condensing the middle of the field there. So I'd just like to see something a little different from the Blue Devils in this second half because what they're doing right now, I mean, they move the ball well, but the scoreboard says 0 points, and that's the biggest takeaway right now.
All right, so let's talk about the Blue Devil defense and what they've been asked to do tonight. Now, a little bit different look on the other side of the ball with the sort of full house backfield Brentsville's used, and they've used different running backs. J.C. Wilbanks has done some damage. He had that one 29-yard run or 27-yard run, and then they've used Brady Whitlock, and they've used Jake Cornwell.
Right.
And so that's something that the Blue Devil defense has had to contend with. What is your take on that and the grade you give the Blue Devil defense here in this first half?
I think they've done a fairly good job. They've given up 2 scores, but one again on a short field here. That's been a reoccurring problem for Culpeper for most of this season outside of this brief 2-game winning streak here. I think they've done a good job. The linebackers, for the most part, staying disciplined. This is a Brentsville team that wants to wear you down, and maybe they are starting to kind of show that in that second drive and that touchdown drive. You have to stay extremely disciplined, but you guys mentioned Fitzgerald at defensive tackle. I think he's been really good so far in this one. Overall, defenses look pretty solid.
So it'll be interesting to see then what adjustments Coach Wakefield and his staff make as we start the third quarter here momentarily. But Chris, you and Steve and I were talking about the playoffs and what they might look like. Let's talk about 3A in the region Culpeper's in, the teams that are in it, the mix, and where the Blue Devils stand at this point.
Yeah, so Culpeper right now is number 4 seed in the region after defeating Warren County last week, who's number 5 seed. So if the season ended right now, which obviously it's not, Culpeper will be playing a home playoff game, but they're going to have to go out. They're going to have to continue winning games to do so. But really, that Region B is wide open. We're talking about 2 teams who have a record of above 500, and Thomas Jefferson Richmond and Spotsylvania at 4-3. I think James Monroe is going to kind of prove themselves to be maybe the cream of the crop of this region. They've played a pretty tough schedule. They're usually a fairly good football team. I think they went 10-3 last year.
And we'll see them next Friday against Eastern View.
Yeah.
Speaking of Eastern View and the 4A side of things, and both regions are loaded with good football teams. So of local interest, one of the biggest games, of course, is Louisa and Orange County. And we know Louisa has a very good football team. How good do you think they are?
I think they're extremely talented. I think that the top of that region that Eastern View is in, 4B region, is it just talented beyond belief. And we've got Dinwiddie, Monacan, Louisa, and then the Cyclones who are 7-0 or 8-0. 8-0 as well. So they're 4 undefeated teams in the top of that region. That's the most in the state. Usually you'll find 1 or 2 in each region. This one's got 4 with Division I prospects at all of those other schools. And it's going to be tough sledding to get out of that second round. I mean, there are going to be 2 teams that are going home disappointed.
Yeah.
Because they're going to run into, one of the 3 best teams in the state, possibly. It's going to be tough.
So we were talking about Eastern View having its bye week this week, and they'll come back next week to play James Monroe there, and then they play King George to finish the regular season. So I'm curious to see how seriously James Monroe will challenge Eastern View, and I wonder if Coach Hatfield is very much interested in the Louisa County, Orange County game.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's getting a good look at that game tonight. And last update we heard was Louisa was up 28-12, I believe, in that one, with about 5 minutes left in the first half. So.
All right. If we switch back to the game here at Broman Field, and we talked about it being 13-0, really, the Blue Devils that fumble on the kickoff hurt them where Brentsville was able to take it and make it a 2. No, they stopped them then, but they did come back. So Brentsville, I think, has done a really good job with their running attack. But if we bottom line it again, if you're the Blue Devils, you got to add a different look and be a little more creative. It's too predictable what's going to go on in that offensive side of things.
They've got the weapons to do this, whether it's Capone Hoffman, his brother Armani's a pretty good athlete. Gabe Fry has caught some passes kind of out of that H-back or tight end situation. They've got the offensive pieces. I think Javea Kolkoff's got a great arm too. I mean, he's got a cannon. I don't know. We haven't seen him throw too much outside of the pass that he caught himself.
Yeah.
But I think they have the talent to do it. Maybe work in some play action. Brentsville's going to be playing the run here as they have all game, so they're going to have to mix it up, down 2 scores.
Well, Chris, as always, thanks for joining us, and we appreciate your insight and analysis. And keep up the good work.
Thanks, Mark. Enjoy the second half.
All right, you too. Well, Steve Peacock will rejoin us as we get ready to start the third quarter. And as we mentioned, the Tigers won the coin toss and deferred to the second half, so they'll be getting the ball here, and they're up 13-0. Well, Steve, you heard Chris's analysis. Anything else you want to add to that, and what you think? I'm sure you agree the Blue Devils are a little predictable on offense, a little too vanilla. Got to add a new wrinkle or two.
Yeah, they have to switch it up a little bit, Mark, and get a little bit more diversified. But, a little bit, I was thinking that, James and Rowe, you're talking about James and Rowe, they got a big game tonight with Cortland. Both of them are on 3-game winning streaks, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Cortland seems to have found the ship, and they're fighting for a playoff spot. Cortland is, and of course James and Rose at the top, so that's going to be a big game tonight. But again, Culpeper, they got to kick off right here to Brentsville. They've got to stop Brentsville, and they've got to throw in a couple new wrinkles on offense, see if they can get their offense on track.
All right, here's Gabriel Barrows kicking off for the Blue Devils. Straight away they go. This one fielded inside the 25-yard line. Gabe Fry in on the tackle, along with Adam Mifsud. And the return man was number 83. And that would have been Wyatt Ivers. So the Tigers go on offense here with relatively good field position at the 37-yard line, leading 13-0.
It's going to be up to the defense here. They've got to force Brentsville to a 3-and-out and force them to punt, and not let them rip off big time-consuming drives by running that football.
All right, Bailey Loa under center. They go back to the run, left side. And Wilbanks runs into a wall after he got too close to the 40-yard line. Well, J.C. Wilbanks there, number 49, some damage in the first half against the Blue Devils.
He's a big kid, Mark. He's a strong runner. He's listed on the roster as 6 foot, 200 pounds. I think he's a little bit bigger than that. Probably about 6'1", maybe about 220. And he runs hard.
Picked up 4 yards. 2nd and 6 Tigers from their own 41. Opening minute here of the third quarter. 13-0 Tigers. Bailey Loa handing off to the running back, who's hit at the 40-yard line. They dropping. That was Whitlock, the ball carrier. Nathan Martin and a couple other Blue Devils there for the tackle. And it's going to bring up third down and about 8.
I don't look for Brentsville to throw it very much, Mark. They're going to try to hold on to this 13-0 lead by just being ball control offense and use their stingy defense to keep Culpeper out of the end zone. Culpeper, like you said, has got to figure out a way to mix it up and see if they can or get turnovers.
Well, big third down, and we say that a lot, but big third down for Blue Devil defense, if they can stop them here and stem some of this momentum that Brentsville took into the third quarter. And this play going nowhere, I'm not really sure what that was designed to do, but Bailey Loa ends up falling down on the ball and no gain on the play in an obvious punting situation. So the defense does the job, and they're going to give the ball back to their offensive teammates here shortly.
Well, he dropped the football, Mark. Dropped it from the center snap exchange. The quarterback dropped it, and he just had to fall on it. But now forces the punting. But that's what the Blue Devils needed to do. Now let's see if they can get their offense on track and see if they can come down here and score.
Capone Hoffman, the lone safety back for the Blue Devils, stands at about the 30-yard line. Here's Harris. Here's his kick. It's a line drive. One hopper fielded by Hoffman at the 30, 35. And they tackle him at the 40, and a penalty flag comes in on the play. And usually that's in the area of a holding.
It's going to be on number 3, Mark. It's going to be a block in the back against Culpeper. And
That would be our birthday guy.
Yeah, Armani
Hoffman.
He kind of pushed him in the back, and it's going to come back against the Blue Devils. But another observation I made, Culpeper, comparing them to Eastern View, and I don't like to do that because they're two different teams, but Culpeper doesn't have the go-to guy like Eastern View to go get you some points. Who does Eastern View have? Diego Hunter.
Yeah.
Weapon anywhere on the field. Culpeper doesn't have that type of weapon where they know they can put it in one of the athlete's hands and he can get points for him. Culpeper's got to do it by playing mistake-free football. And what's hurting the Blue Devils so far this game? 2 turnovers and the penalties.
In fact, that was a block in the back, and they mark it at 26. That's where the Blue Devils will go on offense for the first time here in the third quarter. And they hike it to Jave Coleclaw. He's thinking run all the way, and he's picking his spots, and he's getting behind his lineman, and it looks like they were trying to strip the ball from him. And about 3 or 4 Tigers finally bring him down, but not until he got out to about the 40-yard line, and a pickup unofficially so far of 14 yards on the play.
And I think, the problem with Jave is he looks like he's walking back to the huddle. He's banged up, Mark, and you just keep pounding on him and pounding him. It's going to wear him out. But we'll see if what Culpeper is going to do here.
And it was 14 yards and a Blue Devil first down. They now have it 1st and 10 at their own 40. Official timeout.
It's because equipment issue with Brentsville.
9:06 to play in the third. 13-0 Tigers. Blue Devils have it 1st and 10 at their own 40, following that 14-yard run by Jave Coleclaw. There's Coleclaw handing off. Gabe Fry. He's got some running room. Good running by Fry. Out close to midfield and a pickup of nearly 10 yards. His biggest carry tonight. It was 10 yards and another Blue Devil first down, unless it's a little shy. Yeah, it's going to be inches shy. He's got to get it right at that, with just inches beyond that 50-yard line mark.
And this is where I'm sure that Coach Wakefield and staff told the offensive line, you've got to do a better job up front and give us our running backs a break.
Here's Staten picking up the first down. He only needed about a half a yard. He got that, and a new set of downs after they moved the sticks. And they have it, Brentsville territory, at the 47-yard line. Let's call it the 48, closer to the 48. 1st and 10. Here's Jave Coleclaw. Going to run it. Changing directions. Picking up yardage. He loves to spin out of those tackles, doesn't he, Steve?
Yep.
And he keeps spinning, and they finally bring him down just shy of the 35-yard line, and I think it's going to be about a 13-yard pickup. There he is, number 15, Jave Coleclaw. He's really the go-to guy back there for this Blue Devil team now.
It is, Mark, and I love how he runs with the football. But again, when you're fighting for yardage and all that, against good teams, you're going to get that ball ripped out of your hands. You've got to learn just to go down. You've got, when you got about 8 people on you and they're ripping at the ball and you're still trying to pick up that little quarter yard.
Here's Noah Staten. This one not going very far as Cornwell, Jacob Cornwell, a linebacker, number 30, senior, makes the tackle on Staten.
Staten's got to learn, Mark, when you go in the hole, run north-south. Don't turn to the side getting in the hole, and now all of a sudden you're looking east-west and trying to pick your way through. That's not your style. Your style is hard-nosed running. I'll still go back, against the when we saw him, not against Warren County, but the Skyline, where he really cold-cocked somebody running that football.
Adam Mifsud is back there with Jave Coleclaw now on 2nd and 10. Here's Coleclaw rolling to his right. Going to throw. Short. Incomplete. I think it was designed to get the ball to Gabe Fry, but it was overthrown.
And, I'm just having a, Warren County beat Brentsville, so did Skyline beat them. And it just, they're playing good football, especially from the defensive side of the football. They always have been stingy. Now a big 3rd down play here for the Blue Devils.
And Steve, would you think this is a 2 down situation?
Oh, absolutely, I think for Culpeper, yeah.
It's 3rd and 10 from the Tigers' 37. 7:03 to play in the third. 13-0 Tigers. Big third down and 10 for Javea Coleclaw and his teammates. There's a throw out there, and he's got Capone Hoffman. And Hoffman doing a little work. He's going to be a little shy of a first down, but this is a very manageable fourth down situation. Now it's going to bring up fourth and short. We'll wait on the spot.
And that's what I like to see Culpeper doing, throwing the football a little bit. Got to keep that Brentsville defense guessing a little bit here.
It's good. It's 4th and 1. You got about 9 yards on that play. It's fourth and a short one.
Can you say Javea Coleclaw?
Yeah, I think that's probably the call. And
you don't think Brentsville knows it?
Yeah, Coleclaw wants a timeout to think about it. Well, as he does so, we'll tell you this broadcast is made possible by Able Heating and Air. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. That's Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. So this is a important start here in the third quarter for both teams, Steve. Of course, Brentsville District started on offense, and they went 3 and out, and Culpeper took over. Would have had better field position, but the block in the back started them around 26-yard line, but they pounded it up to the Brentsville District 28 where they faced a 4th and 1. And this would, if the Blue Devils can keep it going here, might be a swing in momentum here in this game.
Oh, big swing, Mark. I mean, almost crucial right here. And I just think right now, what the Blue Devils do, they got to concentrate right here getting the first down.
So you'd dial up on 4th and 1, Javea Coleclaw, wouldn't you?
Yep.
That seems to be the safest bet, and it is Coleclaw. And he's got it.
Yep.
He needed a yard. He spun out of that initial hit, got to the 25-yard line. He picked up 3 yards. They'll move the sticks. It's 1st and 10 Blue Devils from that spot. Making the tackle for Brentsville District was number 55, Connor Sides. But a new set of downs for Culpeper. They started this drive on their own 26-yard line. They now have it 1st and 10 at the Tigers' 25. 6:21 to play, third quarter. Here at Broman Field, 13-0 Tigers. Culpeper hoping to change that. They go with Coleclaw, and they stop him pretty much in his tracks. J.C. Wilbanks in on the tackle for Brentsville, and they're going to give him a yard on the play. It's 2nd and 9.
And I still think this is where, you could do play action and have Coleclaw drop back, but that's not his style. And this is where they do miss Eric Wilson. They could put him back in the game, but from the likelihood, it looks like he's probably going to be out for the season. Wouldn't you say, Mark?
Well, yeah, I would say he's probably listed as doubtful. Wouldn't you?
Yep.
Doubtful to return.
I heard he broke his collarbone, so.
Right. Or was it a separated shoulder?
Or a separated shoulder.
Yeah, here's Coleclaw. He's going to throw. He's got Gabe Fry. Let's see what Gabe Fry can do. He's racing toward the sidelines. If the penalty flag coming in late, that might be a face mask or a late hit. And they're going to mark him down at the 15-yard line. That's very close to a first down, notwithstanding what this penalty call is going to be.
It's going to be face mask is what he signaled, I think.
And that's one of the plays that you've been sort of looking for anyway, is to try to swing it out where you can get Gabe Fry in the mix, catching the ball, and then maybe going to work.
Yep, and just making sure that, because once Gabe gets running, he's tough to break down, tough to bring down. So that was a good play call by the Blue Devils. We'll see what the call is.
Here it comes.
Oh, hit to the head.
Oh, okay. So that's the personal foul?
Yep, personal foul.
All right, so
to the head.
All right, they've marked
targeting is what it was, and
they mark it to 9 then. That's where it's 1st and goal for the Blue Devils. Their deepest penetration tonight. Well, actually, let's call it the 8. 1st and goal from that spot. Javea Coleclaw straight ahead. He'll be stopped shy of the 5-yard line as Ashton Shepard in the tackle for Brentsville District. Call it the 6. Picked up 2. 2nd and goal from there. Gabe Fry checks back into the Blue Devil lineup. All right, Steve, we got a 2nd and goal from the 6 here. Here's a big opportunity for the Blue Devils to get on the scoreboard, make this a 1-score game.
Yeah, we got a new offensive lineman in for the Blue Devils, Brandon Miller, number 60, at the offensive guard.
We go to Cole all the way. There he goes. He's into the end zone. Touchdown.
Touchdown, Blue
Devils.
Devils. Javay Coklaw from 6 yards out. Mark gets Culpeper on the board. Score now 13-6. Big extra point here. Big extra point. Let me tell you why. Puts it down 13-7. Next time Culpeper scores a touchdown extra point, they're up by 1.
Yep, and his score from 6 yards out comes with 4 minutes and 34 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Well, Gabriel Barros is on for the point after, and the kick's the line drive kick. It's up and good. Well, they say it doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be work. That's a crucial point after, as Steve mentions. It's 13-7, and I think a pretty good chance we've had a swing in the momentum because Brentsville District took some momentum to start into the third quarter. They had the ball on offense. Blue Devil defense forced them 3 and out. Blue Devils take over after the punt on their own 26-yard line. Steve, they marched it down the field by way of the run almost exclusively, except for that one short pass to Capone Hoffman, and then later on to Gabe Fry, short pass as well, and then Javay Coklaw from 6 yards out to cap that drive with a touchdown run. And I tell you what, 13-7, a one-score game, and you got to figure that Culpeper's got to feel a little bit better about their chances here at this point.
Well, they do, Mario. They had to come down here and score because of the way their offensive makeup is. They run the football, and I mean we're already only got 4 minutes left here to go in the third quarter. Now what we got to do is seize the momentum, stop Brentsville here on a 3 and out.
Gabriel Barros will kick off for Culpeper. He connected on a critical point after a moment ago. 13-7 our score now in favor of the Tigers. And here is Barros' kick. Straight away, end over end, fielded inside the 15-yard line. This is Brady Whitlock. And Whitlock returns it out near the 30, it looks like. So Brentsville District back on offense. We mentioned the quarterback change with Bailey Loa being the quarterback for the Tigers tonight. Former quarterback Brady Whitlock moved to that running back position, and he's also plays some receiver, and of course we saw him a moment ago as a return specialist. And they have marked it at the 35-yard line. That's where the Tigers go back on offense. And they are trailing now, or are leading now, rather, 13-7. Here's a quick hitter, and there's a penalty flag coming in on this one as they handed it off to J.C. Wilbanks. Did you see a flag come in?
Yeah, I thought I did.
I thought I did.
But no, there's no flag.
All right. Got out to the 38. 2nd and 7 there. And we got things flying in the stands here.
That's what I saw. We saw the footballs or the T-shirts that were given away to the cheerleaders.
Here's the pitch. Oh, we got a whistle to stop this one. And
that will be false start against Brentsville.
Some of the guys that stood out tonight for you, Steve, who comes to mind?
Well, Javay Coklaw stood out on Culpeper, and you got to look at false start, and you got to look at with Brentsville, you got to look at Wilcox and number 49 for Brentsville,
J.C. Wilbanks.
But right now, Culpeper's they're doing the right things right now. They're 2nd and long. They've got to force Brentsville here to punt the ball, see if they can get the momentum and seize it and come back down and score again.
2nd and 12 from the 33 for the Tigers. Here's that pitch. This is Whitlock waiting for things to happen, and as it did, he ran through the hole. Brad Krimp came over to make the tackle. It looks like we got a stoppage here. I don't know if there's a penalty flag down or not.
And the other thing is that gets me is what I'm impressed about Brentsville is that they're disciplined. Mark, they pick their spots, and we'll see what.
Well, there is a penalty. They're getting ready to mark this one off right here. Here it is.
Blocking.
It's a holding or pushing the back. Illegal block in the back. Now they've marked it inside the 30-yard line. So Brentsville District now moving in reverse. They've got it at the 29. It's an actual loss of 4 yards. They'll repeat second down. They'll make it 2nd and 16.
The clock's starting to run again, but the third quarter is starting to get marked a little bit of sloppiness with some penalties. But it's helping the Blue Devils here now.
Yeah, definitely helping them with the 2nd and long, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, here's Loa under center. Rolls to his left, looking to throw. And he's got a receiver in the flat out there, caught. It's Brady Whitlock, and he's going to be about 4 yards shy of a first down. He got across the 40, out to about the 40. Well, looks like the 41. 12-yard pickup, going to ring up 3rd and 4.
Again, Culpeper, Brentsville's not afraid to throw it either, and they'd had Culpeper guessing right there. But now Culpeper, you got to think they got to get a big third stop here. I don't look for Brentsville to go for it in 4th down if they don't convert here on this 3rd down.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I know we say it a lot, but it is a big 3rd down for both teams here. Under 3 minutes to play here in the 3rd. 3rd and 4. And here's Whitlock breaking 2 tackles and then speeding into that secondary, getting a first down, crossed midfield. He's in Culpeper territory, and Brady Whitlock showing some athleticism, isn't he?
He sure is. And again, Culpeper's got to get the Brentsville off. They can't let him, do a ball control drive and come down here and score a mark. And right now, Culpeper is getting beat up front, and that's what defensively they got to look at it because Brentsville's not big offensively on the offensive line. But right now, Culpeper's defensive line is getting beaten up, getting controlled by the offensive line of Brentsville.
They got Adam Mifsud over the nose of that football. Here comes some pressure. Can they get to him? Well, he throws, and he finds Brady Whitlock. And Whitlock will have a first down, tackled by Capone Hoffman. And they move the sticks once more. Looks like they were getting awfully close to Loa, unable to catch up with him before he was able to dump it off to Brady Whitlock. And Whitlock showing some speed. And he gives his teammates a new set of downs. They have it now marked at the Culpeper 37. Pickup of 11 yards on the play.
It looked like it's going to be a screen play anyway. It's just kind of a ugly screen play.
It's Will Banks in motion. Quick hitter. And this is Alex Whiteley. I think it was his 3rd carry of the night. He picked up positive yardage. Got inside the Blue Devil 30. They'll mark it at 29. That's a pickup of 8 yards. And 2nd and 2 coming up. This is what you were talking about, Steve, that the defense didn't want to give up this chunk of running yardage.
And what's happening, Mark, is they Culpeper had him stop on consecutive penalties. I mean, had him way backed up. But then they gave up a couple big plays. And right now, the defense, to me, looks tired. And Brentsville is trying to wear them out. And Brentsville is just playing sound football. That quick hitter's hurting Culpeper.
Here's the pitch. This is Whitlock. And they do a nice job this time. This is Jaden Brown making a nice tackle near the line of scrimmage, and perhaps actually may have dropped Whitlock for a 1-yard loss. But you were right, Steve, but the defense had Brentsville District pushed back to a 2nd and 16, and then it was a 3rd and 4, and that's when they capitalized. That was a big play for them. So he lost some yardage there back to the 30, and we'll make it 3rd and 3. Final 45 seconds of this 3rd quarter clock ticking away on 3rd and 3 here. Little delay. Here's Will Banks. Will Banks got inside the 25. He'll have a first down for the Tigers.
And they'll just stop the clock just enough time to move the sticks and start it back up. And I don't think Brentsville is going to be in a hurry to get a playoff here before the 3rd quarter ends.
13-7 is our score in favor of the Tigers, who led 13-0 at the intermission. Blue Devils made it a 1-score game.
Maybe I'm wrong. Looks like they are.
Yeah. Final 20 seconds ticking off. Tigers have it 1st and 10 at the Blue Devil 24. Will Banks the ball carrier, and he dives forward close to the 20-yard line. Final seconds ticking off this 3rd quarter. Don't think we'll get on the playoff, as we'll mark it at the 22. And there's the signal that indicates the quarter has expired. We've played 3 here at Broman Field, where our score is Brentsville District 13, Culpeper County 7. We'll come back for the start of the fourth quarter right after this.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at Triple Image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
All right, well, welcome back to our broadcast and the start of the fourth quarter here at Broman Field, where our score is Brentsville District 13, Culpeper County 7. And as we start the fourth quarter, the Tigers will have it 2nd and 7 from the Blue Devil 21-yard line. All right, well, this was the handoff to Alex Whiteley over that, actually J.C. Wilbanks. And Wilbanks got inside the, inside the 20 to the 16.
We just have great, beautiful sight lines here at Broman.
It does call a delay in the delivery, doesn't it?
Yeah. So,
3rd. Now that we haven't noticed that before. All right, here's 3rd and 1. Here's the pitch. Here's Whitlock. And they tackle him hard by Nathan Martin and Cameron Buchanan, but I think they'll have a first down for the Tigers. Yep.
We've been saying that for 20 years, hoping maybe one next season might get better, but it's still the same. Oh, jeez.
Well, who were we talking to who said some things never change? All right. Well, the Tigers will have it 1st and 10 now from the Blue Devil 12. Opening minute of the fourth quarter. Bailey Lowe, the quarterback, has had that full house backfield behind him. They've utilized the services of several running backs, predominantly this man, J.C. Wilbanks, over the left side. And Daryl Fitzgerald, Nathan Martin, Lewis Chapman, Adam Mifsud, all in on the tackle for Culpeper. They mark it right at the 10. Picked up 2, 2nd and 8.
Culpeper is really going to have to, they're going to have to stiffen up here. They do not want Brentsville to score here. Try to let them try to do a field goal try at least, but don't let them get in the end zone because that could not bode well for the Blue Devils the way these offenses are geared.
And if they do get a field goal, it's still a two
possession.
They have to have two. Yeah, have to have 2 scores. Yeah, Culpeper does that. 2nd and 8. Here's Whitlock. And Whitlock got down near the 5-yard line where he was tackled by Nathan Martin. And I think it's going to bring up 3rd and about 3.
Big 3rd down play here we keep saying that, but this is a big one here for the Blue Devils. And, of course, Brentsville is going to take their time in this fourth quarter. Now under 10 minutes to go here at the ball game.
And it is 3rd and 3
because
from the 5.
Pretty soon what's going to happen, Morgan, it's not going to be Brentsville the enemy. It's going to be the clock for the Blue Devils.
Yeah. They're managing the running game and the clock pretty well right now. Here's 3rd and 3. Well, we got a fumble, and Loa unable to get control after that handoff. And he pounces on it. Now it's 4th and 3.
And now they're going to bring on the field goal. And that's a smart move by the Brentsville coaching staff. Try the field goal here because it puts you up 2 scores. If you don't get any on the 4th down, you come away with nothing. So
I think this is going to be a 22-yard field goal attempt because the line of scrimmage is a 5. Tack on 7 for the placement, 12 and 10 for the end zone. 22-yard field goal attempt coming up by Kyle Harris. There's the snap and the hold. This one is going to be short and no good, so your defense does hold.
Yep.
How about that one?
And now you got to tell your offense, let's go down here and score and give the defense a rest, Mark, because they were basically on the whole field for the 3rd quarter almost.
Well, I was looking at that drive. Brentsville District started it on their own 35. And unofficially, they rattled off 17 plays before they took that field goal attempt. And so that means ball control if you're Brentsville District, and it means fatigue if you're the Blue Devil defense.
Yep. And right now, the Blue Devil offense is sitting there. They've got to answer now, Mark, because, an extra point puts them ahead. So, and you look like when both offenses are not throwing offenses, so they're not really big play, quick striking offenses. So we'll see what's going to happen here.
Looks like Culpeper has it at the 21. Javay Koklaw going to run it. Going to pick up some yards. About 7 to be exact. Draw it across the 25 out to the 27.
Now we're getting down to that crucial time in the game, Mark, under 8 minutes, and that's when it's going to be really putting the pressure up on Culpeper. The clock. They're going to be playing 2 opponents, Brentsville and the clock.
So it's interesting. They trail 13-7. 8:25 to play. They're putting together this drive. They theoretically could come down, use the clock, and come down and score, and then the point after would decide it. That could happen as Javay Koklaw switches direction, picks up a 1st down, and about a yard to spare. And we have an shaken up Tiger on the field. It's J.C. Wilbanks. Yeah. He's been a critical player tonight. And now he goes to the turf.
It looks like it's a cramp, Mark.
Well, as they attend to Wilbanks, we'll take a quick break and come back when the action resumes. We'll come back now as J.C. Wilbanks. Steve, you think he had a cramp, and he went to the sidelines. I don't know if he's checked back. I don't think he has, no.
No, you got to go out.
Yeah, you got to go out for a play, yeah. All right, so we got a new set of downs for Culpeper. They have it 1st and 10th, their own 33. 8:13 to play, clock stop. And we said Tigers up 13-7. So this is a very crucial drive for the Blue Devils. And this is Noah Staten hit near the line of scrimmage by Jake Cornwell, the linebacker. And held Staten, the ball carrier, to a 2-yard pickup. They mark it to 35. It's 2nd and 8 now for the Blue Devils.
Both these offenses are plain vanilla offenses, but Culpeper's looking to put a little swirl into theirs so they can get a score here.
Steve, I feel like for Brentsville, they sort of added a dimension with Brady Whitlock tonight.
Yeah, they did. And I think and plus playing under center, when they were being in shotgun last time.
Here's Koklaw. He was going to run right, then he's cut back and ran it straight ahead. He got across the 40 to the 41. He picked up 6 yards, and now here is a 3rd and 2.
See, Brentsville's going to be content to let Culpeper run as long as they don't rip off any big plays and just let them chew up clock. Right now, and then you're going to get down to both teams will have their full complement of timeouts still.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong for Culpeper chewing up the clock for a couple of reasons. One is, as long as they don't turn the ball over, and 2, they're giving their defensive teammates a rest. Here's Noah Staten.
I thought Brentsville jumped, maybe and Culpeper snapped the ball, but I don't see any laundry on the field. Oh, there is one. There's a flag. No, Nope, no flag.
And Staten did not get the first down. He got a yard, and it's 4th and 1.
Can you say Javay Colclaw?
Absolutely. Javay Colclaw, number 45, 15, rather. 45 is Noah Staten.
And 4th and short. Culpeper's got to go for it here. They can't punt the ball away and give it into Brentsville.
And they have the ball at the 43.
You got to get good blocking up front.
4th and 1. Steve thinks Colclaw. That's what we thought. There he goes. He's got a first down. And he gets out close to midfield. He needed 1. He picked up 7. That moves the sticks.
And it'd be good to run the clock all the way down and score. Then you got the big crucial extra point.
I know it. See, I was thinking the same thing because now you're giving your defensive teammates a rest. And you're working the clock. And as long as you hold on to the ball, you don't have to worry about working the clock.
Can you say irony? Because, see, Brentsville beat William Monroe with a last-second touchdown, extra point. Now Culpeper has a chance to do it to Brentsville.
All right. Colclaw again. Getting behind his lineman. And getting out to the 45-yard line. There's another 5-yard pickup for Colclaw. I think that's unofficially his average, don't you?
Yep. And then now you're getting down to the clock getting under 5 minutes. And now it's getting crucial, Mark.
Yeah, but again, it's ball control. As long as they hold on to it, I think they're fine as far as the clock. And then would you go for the the point after would automatically give you the win.
Right.
You wouldn't
go
for
two. You would just go for the point after and be out of here with a win. A win's a win. Doesn't matter how.
Yep. 5 minutes to play and counting now here in the 4th quarter. 2nd and 5 Blue Devils from the Tigers 45. Here's Colclaw again. Here comes some pressure. He dumps it off. And he's got Gabe Fry out there. And the initial defender won't let go. He got inside the 40, out to the 43. And that should be enough. It is enough for another Blue Devil first down.
Colclaw did his good Tim Tebow impersonation.
Yeah.
Kind of running and then just kind of jump stop and threw the ball to Gabe Fry. Good play.
And they mark it to 37. 1st and 10 Blue Devils, 4:35, clock ticking here in the 4th quarter. But again, as long as they're moving the football, I think the clock is fine. And they have it now, 1st and 10 at the Tigers 37. Javay Colclaw back there, going to keep it again. Straight ahead he goes. He got inside the 35 and dove to about the 33. Oh, Mark, yep.
See, what Brentsville's defensive line is trying to do to Culpeper's offensive line is submarine them and get them occupied and let the linebackers make the play. And Javay made a good play jumping over the pile, but he just couldn't get clear of the second level. But now, like I said, Mark, we got to, you get a little nervous now when that clock's like 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Still plenty of time as long as you're not turning the ball over and you get 5 or 6 yards of pop by Javay Colclaw. He got inside the 30 to the 29, and we'll have a very manageable 3rd down coming up. Well, this is where the Blue Devils would run the clock and then, of course, exercise their timeouts judiciously. That would be the plan. Right?
Yep.
3rd and 2 now. Can you say Javay Colclaw?
You can.
We're probably going to say Javay Colclaw. 3rd and 2 now from the 29. Steve talks about that clock. No, they go to Noah Staten. Staten to the outside. He'll have a first down. You probably would have advised against that, but he beats the odds on this one, doesn't
he? Ran hard because
yeah.
he ran hard for the first time, this evening. The other time he's running inside, but he ran hard and got that first down. And now the Blue Devils, like I said, they're in the driver's seat. They just got to keep going, keeping that train going.
I think you were probably going to cringe when you saw him going east and west rather than north and south. But he did get the edge long enough to get that first down. They have it marked at the 23 now. Back to Colclaw. Colclaw straight ahead. Got some running room. They drag him down at the 10 or inside the 10. And Culpeper, Steve, are in good position because now you're looking at 1st and, well, it's not quite at the 10, so I think they can get a first down with having to score here. And now you're down to 250. That's plenty of time from 11 yards out.
Yeah, it is. And, right now, and they're going to start the clock.
Plenty of time, 2:45 and counting, but the Blue Devils have it 1st and 10 at the Tiger 10-yard, just outside the 10-yard line. they can get a first down without having to score. Here's Coleclaw. Nice step there in the backfield and dragging a defender. Steve had a chance to wrap him up for a loss, and he just eluded those tacklers.
Yep.
It's almost like he's decided he's going to take the team on his shoulders. He's going to win this thing for him.
That was his strength right there, was able to elude those tacklers and keep his momentum going forward. But again, you got to, I want him in there. You got to get in that end zone and get that extra point.
Yeah, 2:10 and counting. Blue Devils have it 2nd down and 6 from the 7-yard line.
No turnovers.
Here he goes again, Coleclaw. Look at him go. Here's Coleclaw fighting for more yardage. And no signal yet. There it is. He's in from 7 yards out.
Touchdown, Blue Devils. J.C. Coleclaw from 7 yards out.
With 1:49 to go, Steve, tell me about this clock management by the Blue Devils. They look pretty poised to me.
They do. Now the all crucial extra point.
And if you're Brentsville District, you don't have to panic here because 1:49 could be enough time for you to come back depending on your field position and how they respond. But like you said, a very important point after. Capone Hoffman, the holder for Gabriel Barrows. Snap is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. And the Blue Devils have their first lead of the night. It's 14-13 with 1:49 to play. Isn't that sort of how we drew it up?
That's what we wanted to draw it up.
Yeah.
And now you got to ask your defense, Mark. Hang on for 1:49 to go.
And if I know what you're going to say about this kickoff. Don't do the pooch kick.
Do not do the pooch kick. You're absolutely right.
Kick away.
I will throw my headset off if I see him do that pooch kick.
No pooch kick.
Because you don't want to give them a field goal try to win it. You want them to drive. They're a ball control offense. They don't throw it very well. You want them to go as many yards as possible here.
Well, what about the break the Blue Devil defensive players had on that drive, Steve? I mean, you're looking at Culpeper starting it from their own 21-yard line.
It was, Mark. That's what winning teams do.
16
Last year,
plays.
Culpeper wouldn't have been able to do that. But this year they knew the task ahead of them, and they accomplished it. And hats off to Javay Coleclaw.
Oh, absolutely. They would not be in this position without him. Unofficially 16 plays and definitely 79 yards. Capped by a 7-yard touchdown run by Javay Coleclaw, and Gabriel Barrows connected on a very big point after. It's 14-13 Blue Devils. 1:49 to play in this one. Here's Barrows' kick. Straight ahead they go. This one's going to be fielded inside the 20-yard line. This is the return man, Joey Boros. And a good tackle out there near the 25-yard line. Brad Krim, Lewis Chapman, Adam Mifsud, and number 10, Deshaun Clark, all converging to get a piece of that tackle. And so I think the Blue Devil defense has to feel pretty good about this one. Just average field position now for Brentsville District at its own 26-yard line, and they're going to have to go. Well, really only have to get in field goal range, but I'm not sure how far they're going to have to go, but they have 1:41 to go here in the game.
Keep everybody in front of you, Mark. Don't let a wide receiver get behind you.
And they go to the running back, Will Banks, to the 30, and a penalty flag comes in after the tackle. And actually, that was Jake Cornwell, number 30.
Might be a hold here against Brentsville. We'll see.
Let's see who they confer with. Taha Ali, their number 77, giving us a preliminary call. He's shaking his head. That might not be a good sign.
They picked it up.
All right.
Oh, it is going to be against Culpeper.
Oh, that's not good. Here comes the call. Personal foul.
Whoa.
Face mask. Is it 5 or 15?
15.
Ooh, that is huge.
Yeah.
Remember, Brentsville District can win this thing with a field goal. And after that 15-yard penalty, and that's just one that right there.
That was questionable, but Blue Devils got to bend but don't break here.
Not from the 44-yard line. On their own side of the field go the Tigers. Here's Loa rolling out to his left. Now he's throwing. This one caught near midfield. That one was caught by Brady Whitlock. And it will be about 4 yards shy of a first down, but it stops the clock with a minute 26 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Culpeper needs to come up with a big turnover too here, Mark.
I'm going to guess that the Tigers would probably have to get the ball down to about the 15 for a winning field goal. That'd be a 32-yard kick. 15 plus 7, 22 and 10, right?
Yep.
I think that would probably be in Harris's range. Well, we got a fumble on the play, and again, that's about the third time now that it is the third time that Bailey Loa unable to take the snap without dropping it, but he was able to pounce on it, and they have called a timeout. It'll be second down and 10, or make that rather third down and five, rather, after the timeout. Well, this broadcast is made possible by Triple Image. Make your clothes speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image at 829-1050. A minute 21 to play here in the fourth quarter at Broman Field. The Blue Devils trailed in this one until late in the game after they put together that sustained 16-play, 79-yard scoring drive, capped by the 7-yard touchdown run by Javea Coleclaw. And then the point after by Gabriel Barros gives the Blue Devils the first lead of the game. And we're down to a minute 21, and after this timeout, the Tigers will have it 3rd and 5 from midfield. You were going to say?
It's going to be a big defensive play here by the Blue Devils. Need to do it for 2 downs.
I wonder how many times tonight, I know it sounds cliche, but how many times tonight have we truly had big third down situations?
All night long.
Yeah, it really seems that way. All right, from midfield, 3rd and 5. Here's Loa. Here comes some pressure. Now he steps up. And he throws. He's got a receiver out there. And it's Jake Cornwell who got inside the 30-yard line. So Brentsville District remains in contention to win this one down to a minute 9 to play. And they've got the ball now, Culpeper territory, inside that 30-yard line, right at the 29. I was saying they probably need to get to the 15 for a field goal attempt.
Yeah. All right, we'll see if Culpeper here can stop him.
Here's Loa, back to the run. This is Whitlock. Whitlock got away from Gabe Fry, and he got a first down before they forced him out of bounds near the 20-yard line. So if you're Brentsville District, you got to feel pretty good about your chances here. Plenty of time when you only have to get to perhaps the 15 for a field goal attempt, and they're almost there.
Well, how about the big penalty mark? That face mask is really coming to. And the Blue Devil defense needs to rise up right here.
Minute 3 and counting. Now under a minute to play. Cornwell in motion. Here's our running back. It's Whiteley. And Whiteley doing some damage and refusing to go down until it looks like he got inside the 5-yard line.
He did, Mark. It's that inside handoff that's been giving the Blue Devils fits all night long. They just cannot grab the running back. And now the ball looks like it's going to be placed right at about the
7?
7. No,
they don't even have to think about a field goal here. They can punch it in with a touchdown. 35 seconds and counting. 1st and goal from the 7. And watch out, there's Cornwell, and he goes down to about the 1 or 2. And now they call a timeout with 29.6 seconds to play. Well, obviously Brentsville District is in a good position right here. How big is that 15-yard penalty now?
Huge, Mark. Huge.
Yeah.
And it not only was that big penalty, it gave them good field position, but then they gave up big plays. You know, that pass play and then poor tackling. And I think it's because the defense is tired. I mean, they've been pushed and pushed around by this Brentsville offense, but Brentsville started this drive on their own, looks like
let me see, 26.
26-yard line.
Yeah.
So aided by a big 15-yard face mask penalty. But now, you know, and this could take the wind out of the Blue Devils' sails right here. They fought back to come back 14-13, but now Brentsville's knocking on the door with 29.6 seconds to go, and it looks like the ball's on the 1.
Yeah, and if they score here, the Blue Devils probably won't have enough time to come back.
No, they won't. They need to You got to pray for some divine intervention right here, maybe a turnover, a fumble.
Yep. There's been some exchange problems with the exchange from center to the quarterback tonight 3 times. First and goal from the 1. And this is Whitlock. And there it is. Now they're saying he's in. It's a touchdown for Brentsville District. It'll be 19-14 now with 20.8 seconds to play in the game.
And they're saying if there was no signal, the signal really came in late.
Here it comes.
So,
they're going for 2?
Yeah.
19-14 our score?
No,
they're going to line up for 1. Yeah.
They're going to go for 1.
All right, Kyle Harris on for the point after. We got a timeout taken by Brentsville District. We'll tell you this timeout. We'll tell you that this broadcast, rather, is made possible by Virginia Community Bank. Your bank of tomorrow and every day after. Virginia Community Bank, banking for life at 829-6034. Steve, I'm going to say it. I don't know how it's going to play out. What's that? Did we have Whitlock in as the scorer on that play?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1?
Yep.
That this game, the Blue Devils did a great job of coming back. The sustained drive, good clock management, didn't turn the ball over, took the lead, and you look back on this and you think that 15-yard penalty may have been the difference.
Yeah, the 15-yard penalty hurt, and it gave them better field position and gave them momentum. And they just came down the field and made the plays when they had to. You got to hats off to Brentsville.
Mm-hmm. They didn't panic. Now they'll come on after the timeout.
Minute 49 to go. You would think with that offense, Culpeper playing Culpeper's hands, but defensively, just Culpeper couldn't get the job done. Now they're going for 2.
Our score 19-14. Here's the pitch. Can't find the ball carrier. He's out of your screen. It was Whitlock. He's done some damage tonight, but Brad Krim, Adam Misfit over there, helped making the tackle. We're down to 20.8 seconds to play, 19-14 our score. Obviously, the Blue Devils have to have a touchdown to win it. They have very few seconds to work with.
Well, they got to figure out. They got to come up with a play mark that's going to give them a 20, in 20 seconds, a gadget play or a pass play. You got to see where Capone Huffman can come up big and Javay Coklaw and see if they can come up with a big play and pull out a miracle. We'll see.
Let's tell you whose number we haven't called tonight. Number 12, Christian Jenkins of Brentsville District. He and number 3, Yuri Smaltz. Those were names we called when Brentsville District played Eastern View. But they've gone quarterback Bailey Loa. J.C. Wilbanks has had a good game for them tonight. Alex Whiteley. And what about Brady Whitlock? I mean, really, they unleashed him late in that first half. And but anyway, so like I said, 19-14 is our score in favor of the Tigers, and the scoreboard clock says 20.8 seconds to play in this one.
What Culpeper's got to do, Mark, is vote for a miracle. I wouldn't try to get fancy here on the kickoff. I'd get the ball and get it down, get your offense on the field, and call up a couple plays, because you got time for 2 or 3 plays, but you got to get it down the field.
All right, here's the kick, and they kick away. This is Capone Hoffman.
He's going to go.
Capone Hoffman with the return. Out across the 35-yard line. He burned about, 16 seconds?
No, about.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was 8.
8 seconds.
8 seconds. It was 20. So now they'll have 12.7 seconds. Do you air it out here?
Well,
you have to, don't you?
You got a field goal ain't going to do any good. You got to get in the end zone, so you're going to have to either that or like end arounds or something like that. Maybe find somebody that you got to get it with a speed burner.
How about an end around to Capone Hoffman, who has the ability to also throw it downfield?
That's a good play.
And maybe Jordan Williams.
What I would do, snap it to Coleclaw, Capone Hoffman, send him wide as their end around, and send to Javay Coleclaw deep.
Or Jordan Williams. Yeah. He's probably the guy with your speed out there. Here's the snap to Coleclaw. Here comes some pressure. He steps up, going to keep it. Stiff arms one defender, still on his feet, but you're down to 2.9 seconds to play, and now you're down to a Hail Mary, aren't you?
Yeah, you gotta sit there and
good-looking run by Coleclaw, but it burned a lot of those seconds.
Yep.
Now they're going to have it at on the Brentsville side of things. They're going to take a timeout, and they have the ball marked at the 43.
Now you got to come up with a gadget play, maybe a hook and ladder.
Yeah.
And, or, like I said, you called it. Have Javay Coleclaw come from his wide receiver, pitch to him like an end around, have him throw the ball, get Armani out there and Jordan Williams, and maybe send Coleclaw deep from the quarterback position. Or maybe, you know what, another thing I'd do? They're not expecting it. Screen pass. A screen to Armani Hoffman or Capone, or maybe snap it to Capone, do a screen to Javay and let him do his magic, try to get in the end zone. Because what's going to happen is Brentsville is going to play the deep ball. They don't care if they give up 20 yards in the middle of the field because they got the clock in their favor. So what do? I mean, you got to figure something on the sideline, deep on the post.
Because you figure you're only going to get one play.
Right.
And you're going to have to go 43 yards, or closer to 44, they say. So let's see what they draw up after that timeout.
Got 5 wide over here, Mark.
Yep. 3 on the left, 2 on the right. Here's the snap to Coleclaw. They get it to Capone Hoffman. Now he's back to Coleclaw.
Yep.
Now what? Back to Hoffman. Now there's a penalty flag down. They may be bringing it back depending on what happens. And now he dishes it back off. And Fitzgerald dishes it off. And now it's into the hands of the Tigers. That's how it's going to end.
But we got a penalty here. And we'll see.
But I think it's going to work against the Blue Devils for
it can't end on a defensive penalty. It can end on an offense.
This is going to be disappointing, I think, for the Blue Devils when look back on this one. Because after they took that lead, they were in the driver's seat. Now they wave the penalty flag off, and that's going to be the end of the game.
That's going to be the end of the game.
Yeah, that's how it ends with our final score, 19-14 in favor of the Tigers. Well, Steve, we've been talking about it periodically throughout the broadcast, what went well and what went bad for the Blue Devils. But I feel like there was an opportunity there that was squandered.
It was a squandered opportunity by Culpeper. They came back and fought back and won. Went up by a score of 14-13. Minute 49 to go, Mark. They gave up that one big penalty, that face mask penalty, killed him. The Blue Devils, they gave Brentsville a 15-yard penalty and get the ball midfield, and then they just did it with their offense and with a couple short passes and their running backs, and basically against a tired Blue Devil defense.
Well, very well said. So with the loss, the Blue Devils fall to 2-6. And then next week they'll play Manassas Park, and then the following week they'll close out the regular season to William Monroe of Greene County. So Brentsville District came in tonight with a record of 1-6. They improved to 2-6. So these two teams are even. But the way the 3A is, as far as the postseason, the Blue Devils are going to be likely in the playoffs if they win next week and the week after, aren't they?
Right, but Brentsville jumps ahead of them, and now Brentsville has a chance to host a first-round playoff, where Culpeper, they win the next 2 games, going to have to travel.
Well, Eastern View, which had a bye this week, will be back in action against James Monroe down in Fredericksburg next week, and that's where we're going to be. Steve enjoyed calling the game with you tonight, and that'll about do it tonight for us from Broman Field, where once again our final score, Brentsville District 19, Culpeper County 14. For Steve and Jeff, I'm Mark O'Connell, saying thanks for watching and supporting Blue Devils football on the Culpeper Media Network. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time when Eastern View takes on James Monroe.
Good night.